There are many ways of describing our four-legged companion, commonly known as a dog. Lovable, cute, friendly, intelligent, loyal, and in some cases, a guide. Today, there are nearly 5,000 guide dog owners in Britain and around 400 voluntary branches around the country.
My name is Mary Rasmussen. I'm 72 years old. I am a guide dog owner, and my guide dog Nelson has been with me for 3 years past August. I need a guide dog because I have glaucoma. It's a family condition. My grandmother was blind, my mother was blind, and here am I. And recently a cousin, researching the family tree, found somebody in the 18th century who was dismissed from the army because of failing sight. Oh, well, Nelson is a lovely German Shepherd. He's very loyal, he's terribly trustworthy, he has an incredible memory. I think, based on his sense of smell, he gives me a reason for getting up in the morning. He's allows me to do a great many things, community things, guide dogs things, fundraising, campaigning, all sorts of things. He allows me to travel. I can go on the train or the ferry or the bus or the plane with Nelson and know that I will be safe.
When the guide dog puppies are 6 to 8 weeks old, for the next 14 months of their life, they go to live with volunteer puppy walkers who introduce them to the sights, sounds and smells of the world.
My name's Dave Smith and I'm just past my 69th birthday and I'm a puppy walker. That's my job now. The puppies are normally 7 weeks old and they normally stay until they're 14 months, but I think they're beginning to stretch it now a bit longer. The most important thing is the toilet, I would think, and the recall. We train them to do the toilet at home before they go out in the street, so they shouldn't need in the street, but because they're pups, they still do it but normally it's done at home before we go out. That's most important. We just socialise. We're the socialisers, and we take them to the church, we take them to the cafes, the restaurants, the pub, just everywhere that someone wants to go, we can go, and it's lovely. People are very nice to us as well. So.
He was puppy walked by a volunteer puppy walker called Katrina Nicholson in Edinburgh. So he really knows his way around Edinburgh. And the first time I went there on my own, he took me into a building. I didn't know what it was, but it turned out to be the Festival Hub, which was where Katrina liked to go for coffee.
After about a year, the puppy returns to the guide dogs for the next part of its important training to learn how to guide a blind or partially sighted person.
I don't find it difficult. When they make a noise like that, I just want rid of them. But no, not difficult at all, because you know they're going to go to college and they're going to do something good. So.
There is a lot of time and effort put into matching and training the right dog for the right owner.
Guide dogs are thoroughly trained by volunteer puppy walkers for a year, by the training school for a period of 6 months almost. So when during the last few weeks of that training, the GDMI, the Guide Dog Mobility Instructor, is making every effort to train the dog for the selected partner. So the speed of walking, the amount of walking, the amount of work, that a dog will do. Family and home circumstances. If you live in a tiny flat, you would probably prefer to have a small dog. All of these things are taken into account, and the partnership is being worked on before the dog has actually met his partner.
After the pair has finished their training and qualified together, the owner hands over a token of 50p and the guide dog is awarded a white harness.
You know, I've been given my guide dog for 50 pence. That's the legal agreement with guide dogs, and it allows guide dogs to take the dog back for 50 pence if I don't care for him in the correct way and keep him well.
Depending on how demanding the dog's working life is, guide dogs work on an average of 5 to 6 years, after which it is time to hang up the harness and retire. Sometimes the retirement comes earlier when forced by circumstances, like in Ashley's case.
Because I'm the wheelchair user and Ash isn't able for a wheelchair.
From the start to the present day, the guide dog service has received no government funding and relies entirely on public support.
In some ways, that's a good way, because they could, if they were paying for us, put restrictions on how many dogs we could issue, and it's not the charity's philosophy that anybody who needs one can't have a guide dog. We still need volunteer drivers. I've spoken to Andrea about this. There are still several folks who are waiting to be trained as speakers, and you know, if we're going to have... I got involved initially by chance. I happened to meet somebody when I was out with my dog who told me that there was a fundraising group in Aberdeen. It wasn't for quite some time after that that I realised that I could become a speaker for guide dogs. And having been a teacher and a lecturer and involved in speaking in public, it seemed to me a terribly sensible way to go.
I love volunteering for guide dogs. It is definitely the best thing ever. Not only is it a really important message to get out there, I didn't realise the extent of the work that guide dogs did until I got more involved with it. And obviously being with Bob and seeing how much Ash has changed his life and being able to give him the freedom to be able to get out, and then meeting other people and hearing their stories has spurred me on to do more for guide dogs and more fundraising. And this year especially, we seem to be doing terribly well this year. We're sort of averaging out something like £1,000 a week or something at the moment. So it does encourage you to do more. And when you see the puppies, and you know at some point in time they're going to give somebody else that life that they want, then that just makes you want to do it even more, basically.
It's a great way to pay back.
Well, they have to be important. We do everything for nothing.
Personally, I'm the idiot that gets dressed up. I make dog biscuits, I then dress up as a dog and I sell them. Also dress up as a dog and stand beside the counter. We also do meet and greets, which we love doing, because that gives the public a chance to ask us questions. Normally the silliest questions ever, but again, you have to be polite and you want to explain exactly what they do and how much these dogs mean, so that, you know, people are more aware. They're less likely to do something silly like try and talk to the dog when they're working.
Volunteering for guide dogs not only helps the cause, but also helps to create new friendships.
Russell.
With a cream bun. He's eating it and he's just looking at it. He's looking at it. I mean, you can't hear it.
No, not a thing.
She had one that bugs with strings on it, and just, I mean, that was the first thing I thought. You know, just...
And just the rustle of the back is enough. So joining the group's been a way of paying back. It's also been a way of meeting other like-minded people, and it's a real friendship group.
Oh, certainly. Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's opened so much things to me. Well, Mary and I do a lot of talks, and we go to schools and we go to the Brownies and the Boy Scouts, and we do a lot of talks, and we meet a lot of people, yes, and it's wonderful.
Brings you together when your one goal is doing something and the one goal is raising the money.
That's right, yeah.
And the dogs, obviously.
It's such a good community as well. You know, people, it's like joining a community, really, so it's really good.
Your dogs become friends as well, so you know, you go out together, and that usually leads to a social aspect as well as the fundraising aspect, which is the one thing that we tend to enjoy.
And when I joined the group, then I found that there were all sorts of people there, puppy walkers, supporters, just people who were interested in supporting the charity.
Well, Mary, my friend Mary, she's my best friend, I think.
At the end of the day, a guide dog, just as any dog, enjoys their free time, running in the park, sniffing around and playing with friends.
On the free time, I either, and I do this every morning, I take them to the wood behind my house, which is a large area with trees, and I play with them there. Both of them like to catch a toy and just generally run around and sniff, and I feel that the sniffing part is terribly important. That's how dogs function, and so they can have time to do all of that. I also make an effort to walk them every day. A walk would be perhaps 2 or 3 miles, and depending on the condition of the dog on that day, and of course the weather conditions, they really don't like being wet. Although Campbell, my retired dog, loves the water. But depending on all of that, you know, they will free run while I use my long cane in a controlled area, perhaps in a wood or on the beach or in the countryside generally. I think you only have to see Nelson putting his head into his harness to appreciate that he knows exactly what the harness means and its work. The free time, he usually wears a collar which has bells on, so that I always know where he is. I can always call him back, and he takes the collar, the bell collar, as a signal to play.
My last dog, Lester, actually saved my life. He was only 7 months old, same age as Sadie here, and I had a heart attack when I was out a walk with him, and he ran back and forth. I collapsed in the drive, and he ran back and forth, barking until he attracted attention to get my help. So that 7-month-old puppy was pretty good.
I think perhaps Campbell, my previous dog's, my retired dog's best achievement was when I went to a meeting in Westminster in London, and I flew down to Gatwick, met a friend who works for guide dogs, and we took the Gatwick Express into London, Victoria, and we walked from London, Victoria to Westminster. On the way back, she had to go to another meeting, so she wasn't coming back to Scotland, and I asked Campbell to find the way, and we walked through London at 5 o'clock in the evening, retracing our steps. He'd never learned the route, he'd never done it before, but that's what he did.